Sherman.
Good morning and welcome to Today in L.A. My name's Mike Amos. His name's Bill Rice Jr. and his name is Forrest Lee as we start a Wednesday on our show. Brought to you by Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks on the bypass. And yeah, I saw a little place on the news last night that the cars, the new and used cars, the new cars are sort of limited now. So now they're selling used cars like they were selling new cars.
There's probably a huge demand for used cars, which means
right.
the price of used cars has probably gone up a little.
Well, I tell you what, I noticed this, that there's still plenty of cars on the lot at Premier, no question.
There sure are.
Jody and I we had hot dogs at Sonic Monday night for supper. And we rode around Troy for a little bit, went to Crow Hill, here to Heritage Ridge, and we come on the
That's
bypass.
called a ride around.
Ride around, yeah. Boot, scoot, and boogie. But we went on the car lots, and there's hardly any new cars. Now, we didn't go into Nissan. I'm sure they've got some, but the major dealers.
There's strange things going on in the economy all over the world. Shortages of, I hear there's going to be meat shortages. We heard chicken wing shortages. Cheryl Crow told us yesterday. Yeah. Inflation's really going up.
Speaking of wings, there's Golden Fingers.
Yeah, Gold Fingers, wonderful wings, wonderful wings. Of course, what's going on?
I was looking at that, your headline, you grabbed my attention. Something else strange going on is pitchers are dominating in baseball of all the no-hitters.
Yeah,
but then that headline right there says that the Major League batting average for everybody is 236, which is the lowest since 1968.
1953, it says it.
In one minor league,
you're right.
In one minor league, they've backed the mound up 12 inches, trying to improve hitting. That's somewhere in the northeastern part of the country.
I think they need to do that in women's softball, because you have some pitchers that are just completely unhittable.
Yeah, speaking of women's, go ahead, Mike.
No, I just thought, to close that out is, there's been 6 no-hitters already this year.
Yeah, and speaking of college softball, the World Series starts tomorrow. It'll be at noon. It'll be James Madison versus Oklahoma. Good luck. Yeah. At 2:30, Georgia versus Oklahoma State. So you got 2 teams from Oklahoma. At 7 o'clock, it's going to be Arizona versus Alabama. And at 9 o'clock tomorrow night, it'll be Florida versus UCLA. Total titles. Guess what team has won the most titles in NCAA softball history?
Probably some California team.
UCLA has won 12. You are correct. Arizona has won 8. Oklahoma has won 2. No, Oklahoma's won 4.
Yeah.
Tied with 2 each, Florida, Arizona State, and Texas A&M.
You know why? Because they started playing fast pitch softball so much sooner out there. Yeah. So Alabama has been, correct me if I'm wrong, Tree Lee, 13 times to the College World Series, which is awesome considering they didn't even start softball until about 22 years ago. But they've only won 1 national championship. So
that's right.
Their batting average of winning national championships once they get to the World Series is not particularly great.
Mm-hmm. So it'll be, you got 2 SEC teams, 3. You got Florida, Alabama, and Georgia. You got Oklahoma and Oklahoma State from the same state.
3 out of 8 in the field are from the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
The SEC just dominates in everything now.
And that's played in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And in baseball, I think there's 9 SEC teams in that tournament. It will start this weekend. It starts on Friday. South Carolina is in it. LSU will be in it. Arkansas, Florida. The University of South Alabama is in the Gainesville Regional. Florida will play South Alabama, and Miami will play South Alabama. So good luck to South Alabama.
So South Alabama and Alabama, are they the only teams in the tournament?
From Alabama, yes, sir. In the Knoxville tournament, of course, Tennessee is in it. Vanderbilt's hosting the regional. Of course, there's 16 regionals. Ole Miss is in the Oxford regional. Alabama, here's this regional in Ruston, Louisiana. The number 1 seed is Louisiana Tech versus Rider, and then North Carolina State and Alabama will play. So this
is baseball.
This is baseball.
Yeah.
And then in the Starkville Regional, Mississippi State will play Samford.
Yeah,
Samford won their conference tournament. They had 2 home runs in the bottom of the 7th, or in the bottom of the inning. One kid hit a 2-run homer to tie the game up. Another kid was on base, and then another player came and hit a home run. It was a walk-off home run to allow Samford to win their conference.
Yeah.
And they'll play Mississippi State. So
let me tell you a little story about Samford. They're coached by Casey Dunn, who is the son of legendary coach at Vestavia, Sammy Dunn. And Sammy Dunn is just he won just.
I know a player that was a
state championships.
A guy that was a great player at Samford. Joe Denson, who was the grandson of Martha and Charlie Bradshaw. Lee Denson married a doctor, and they're from Vestavia Hills.
Yeah, okay.
And he was a great infielder. Now, this has been a while.
Yeah.
But he had a fantastic career at Samford.
Yeah. Well, it's a good program.
Coach Bradshaw's grandson.
And, I don't think the program's any better than Troy's, but, they made it to the tournament, and that's what counts. And, well, the way this works, though, this is the region tournament. If you win the region, you are going to go to
the Super Regional.
Super Regional,
yes,
which has 8 teams in it, or what?
No, the Super Regional will have be down
16.
From 16 to go
16 regional. Okay.
So then you'll have 8 winners, and then those 8 winners will go to
No, you have 16 winners.
This week after the regionals, but after the Super Regionals, you'll have 8 winners.
Right, and they'll go to Nebraska.
Nebraska.
Yeah.
Omaha.
Yeah, that's very well known. Omaha, Nebraska.
And man, they support that.
Series.
Omaha put themselves on the map because they supported one event, which Oklahoma City does for the Women's College World Series.
That's where the Hall of Fame for softball is located, is in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
You can distinguish your town if you just support an event that people wouldn't normally support. Like for Montgomery, for a while, supported the Division II College World Series.
That's right.
Really good.
Andalusia, Dominoes.
There you go.
What can we do in Troy?
That's good. Let's think about it. You're an idea man. What can we do, Mike? What event can we host in Troy that nobody else is hosting?
That's right. We could have the national. Well, Andalusia has the Domino Championship.
World Domino Championship.
Yeah.
Cornhole is coming on TV. That's kind of hard to watch to me.
Oh gosh, I don't know, but it's a great day.
Like.
Want to say hello to Ken Cox this morning. He got a kick out of all his friends calling in and talking about him, and he much deserved.
Yeah, we had fun talking about Mr. Cox and talking to all his friends yesterday.
Billy Ray Norman was on that team.
Yeah,
Billy Ray Norman.
And team.
Let me tell you a story about Billy Ray Norman and Ed Barnett.
Yeah.
My mother went to Vidette school through the 8th grade, and she would tell us that I'll finish it. She would tell us that Ed Barnett and Billy Ray Norman, one of them taught her how to tell time, the other one taught her how to tie shoes. Well, my guess is that Ed Barnett probably taught her how to tell time, and Billy Ray Norman probably taught her how to tie shoes. She went to school.
Dr. Barnett was from Louvain.
Yep, and what a fine man he was, and of course he was an excellent baseball player. Played shortstop.
Now his mother had a beauty shop in Goshen, Miss Dorothy Barnett, and his daddy Vandy, I can remember Vandy was his name, but you could go across the street from Miss Elaine Carmichael's and Mr. Glenn Carmichael's, and you could still buy a Pepsi Cola for a dime.
Oh boy!
She said, "Little boy, please bring my bottle back," because it had a deposit on it, and so we would go over there to her beauty salon to buy a 10-cent Pepsi Cola.
I want to mention
Those days are gone.
the messenger this morning, and of course, very interesting topics going on. We're concerned about the county complex. They approved the bond for that building, so we'll be talking a little bit about that this morning. And,
we didn't mention over the weekend, Alabama made the NCAA tournament in baseball for the first time in 4 years. And then
first time in how many years?
Yeah, Stanford won their conference tournament. Casey Dunn is taking Stanford to the NCAA tournament. Why in the world Casey Dunn is not the head coach at Auburn, I don't know. And then South Alabama, congratulations to Forrest Lee's Jaguars.
Forrest Lee's Jaguars.
In Montgomery, they're going to the NCAA tournament.
When I was in college, I saw Rafael Palmeiro, Will Clark, and Mississippi State play South Alabama at Eddie Stanky Field.
I've been to baseball games there.
I didn't know what I was watching, except I knew they were good.
As
South Alabama's had a lot of guys in the pros.
As close watchers of the show might know, the Rices lived in Mobile for 9 months before we moved to Troy.
Oh, did you? Okay.
We moved from Opelika. Dad got transferred to Mobile, and I went to the second semester of 6th grade in Mobile. I went to Azalea Middle School, right next door to Davidson High School. But my mom was a big baseball fan, and we went to a lot of South Alabama baseball games. And it was when Eddie Sankey was coaching.
Yeah.
But I mean, you think of my mom, and
Well, let me
how
tell
would
you.
this former cheerleader and art student be so interested in a random team she'd never followed her whole life?
But now let me tell you the rest of the story of that situation. The athletic director and former baseball coach was a man who married a girl from Troy.
Mel Lucas?
Mel Lucas.
You know,
Exactly.
let me tell you about Mel Lucas. When I was in graduate school there, he was an instructor in the physical education department. He said, "Lee, what you doing this weekend?" I said, "Nothing." He said, "Will you sit in my house?" I said, "Pardon me?" His daughter was getting married, and what people would do in Mobile, they'd get the press register, and they'd see who was getting married.
And then you go steal everything.
And then they would look up that address from whoever, and then they would, while the wedding was going on, they would go rob that house. He said, "You sit in my house, you can have all the beer you want, anything in my refrigerator or cabinets, it's yours. Just sit here and watch my house."
Yeah.
So I did, and
I've never really thought about
Melvin
that.
Lucas.
I bet a lot of criminals do that. Funerals and weddings.
had Billy Joe Bean and Fred Scafidi.
Melvin Lucas
Hey,
with
Bill,
a.
when you have a Troy Campbell security system, you don't have to worry about stuff like that.
I know,
I
you're
know
right.
that Mike Amos is at the beach from time to time, but you got Troy Campbell security system.
Yeah, I have triple. I've got the top security.
Mike, you need to call somebody and have that pool opened up so Bill and I have somewhere to go.
Hey, if somebody will clean it up real good for me, it might take a day.
There are people that you can pay that'll do it for you.
I know it.
Speaking of which, today, happy birthday to Liz Fryer, my mother-in-law in Montgomery, married to Frankie Fryer from Brundage. It's her birthday, and not long after the show, after Jack finishes swimming lessons with Jody Thomas.
Yes, Jody, the sheriff's wife.
We're going to Montgomery to say happy birthday to Liz, eat some cake and ice cream, but they have a swimming pool. So I am going to, and they have cleaned it out. They paid somebody to do it. So I'm diving in.
At Jody's, whose pool?
In Montgomery at my mother-in-law's.
I know, but where's Jody's?
So
Jack
Frankie,
is getting swimming lessons,
In
boot
Goshen?
camp for 10 days in Goshen at Sheriff Russell Thomas and Jody Thomas's house and swimming pool. So I understand that she has quite a big clientele of doing this every year, giving little kids private swimming lessons.
Yeah, I grew up with a Thomas family. There was Michael Keith, we called him Pork Chop. He was the manager at the co-op for a long time, and then later he was the preacher at Joaquin Baptist Church, and he died of COVID complications. Then the next brother is Larry. He used to be the bread man, but he drives for Bonnie Plant. We call him Hawk, and he's one of my best friends. And then Russell,
he the baby?
No, Russell, he's the third boy, and then there's a young girl named Melanie, and she died tragically about a year ago in a tractor accident. She was, we don't know what happened, but she
Well, they've had some real tragedy then. They lose one son to COVID, and then that terrible accident.
Yeah, that was, and their sweet mother, Miss Catherine's, she's in Luverne at a nursing home, and their dad was Emery, and he was something else. That's called Thomas Crossroads right in there. That's near Elam Rogers schoolhouse. The Wilkes lived there, the Carters, the Farmers, that's all in that area. Elam Rogers is a very well-known community, but I want to say hello to Miss Irene Carter, if you're listening, and her daughter, Kara. She's got two daughters, Sharon Giroux, Mary Keith Giroux from Luverne. She's a retired school teacher, and their other daughter, Kara, is Kara Carter Hussey, who's the lady that I had my hair cut off for.
A lot of Hussies. I got
but
some
there's
good
some Carters.
friends that were. My friend Lori Hussey must be kin to them.
Bobby Hussey, probably related to Bobby Hussey.
Yeah. Donnie does a lot of moving. He's one of those movers that moves houses and cabins and.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's from the Victoria community.
It's amazing.
They're back in Texas.
What people can move.
Treatment.
Mr. Hendricks had a place at Lake Martin forever. Prices bought the house. David and Suzanne Price have it now. But had a big piece of land. That's what made their lake house so neat. Wasn't far from our lake house, Mike. And but Mr. Hendricks moved 2 houses to that piece of land. Pretty big houses that Kent and Allison got to use. They just, I don't know how they did it, but they popped them right in there.
Well, Sheriff Thomas's house was moved in. It's a beautiful home, and if you've been to the Barn Restaurant, have you been to the Barn Restaurant?
Well,
you never been?
Go.
I
won't.
Right
the
before
family that did it.
Yeah, right before you get to it, Johnny and Beverly Taylor had a big, beautiful home moved in on the right as you get to the barn, and that was restored. Now, Johnny Taylor is a building guru. He's the one that helped establish the old barn that used to be a mule barn.
And his wife was a longtime principal and educator, and
she's Beverly Linton, kin to Frank Sadler's wife.
All right, you
That's
teach
right.
me all these connections.
Yeah.
Well, I did stories on them and got to know them when I had the Citizen. What I remember about them is they had one of these treasure forests, and their land is really impressive.
Well, there was 2 great men from Albany, Georgia. Who was one of those? Where's Frank Sadler from?
Well, he's from Albany, Georgia.
So is Forrest Lee. I was born in Albany.
Mike Amos has joined us on the this morning from.
It's interesting to me that Alabama made the NCAA tournament, that they will travel to Ruston, Louisiana, because La Tech is the #1 seed in that regional.
In baseball.
That's a pretty.
I mean, how in the world can Troy?
Troy could do the same thing in baseball.
La Tech's the #1 seed.
Well, you know what I said a couple of days on the show? I said if Troy ever makes a big splash in D1 in some sport, it's most likely going to be in baseball.
Yeah, it sure is.
If Coastal, who was
Coastal Carolina
won the national championship, Troy can win a national championship.
Yeah.
And
La Tech will play Rider. Alabama will play NC State. So you got Alabama and NC State traveling to Ruston, Louisiana.
Yeah.
To play in a regional.
Well,
to play in Starkville against Mississippi State, and then South Alabama's traveling to Gainesville to play in the Florida regional.
Yeah.
Well, I got a trivia question when it comes to NCAA baseball, Michael. Who's won the most championships in NCAA baseball?
Southern Cal.
That is correct.
Southern Cal, yeah.
All right, who's tied with 6? They've won it 12 times.
I know Oklahoma State, Wichita State, and Texas have won a lot.
All right, Texas has won 6. LSU has won 6. Arizona State 5. Cal Fullerton 4. Miami 4. Arizona 4. What team has made the most appearances?
All time?
All time.
Florida State?
Nope, 36. Miami is second with 25, but this team has been there 36 times.
Arizona State.
Yeah.
It's deep in the heart of Texas. Texas has been there 36 times.
Whoa.
I remember when they beat Alabama in the championship game with a pitcher named Roger Clemens.
That's right. Exactly right.
Beat Bobby Pierce and Dave Maganon.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people don't realize what a good player Bobby Pierce was at Alabama. He still holds the record for most doubles, I think. That's in a season.
You know, Pierce got out of retirement and is coaching third base at Chipola this year.
Yeah. But you know what? He's liable to come up and get an offer he can't refuse and come back in it.
I'll make you an offer you can't refuse. Who said that?
I think what it's called is double dipping.
Yeah, that's right. Well, yeah, you're right.
And David Felix is still coaching at Freeport High School.
Yeah, sure right. Our
I
good friend,
think
we're
just
going to
got
call
it in his blood.
David
You
one
can't
morning.
get it out.
See how it is down
Well,
there.
you go crazy. These people like Coach Felix would just go crazy, just sitting on the couch, you know, watching TV all day.
James Flowers says vote for us as the best flower shop in the county, and they're wonderful people, and all those folks down there. You can get some beautiful
Troy
flowers.
Allen with the two Dr. Hawkinsons, third generation vet, Dr. Douglas Hawkins.
That's right. Of course, you know they took over for the master, you know, Dr. Doug Hawkins and Dr. Robert Hawkins, his son, and now his grandson, Dr. Douglas Hawkins. You know, that's really something I would have loved. And don't you know? And he was able to some before he died, but Doug Hawkins would have loved to sing that. You know, his son and his grandson.
I'll go back.
Brent Jones has announced Troy will be at 100% capacity, Dad. That's tailgating and attendance at football games.
All right, that's right.
Good job.
But the Olympics in Japan, there's about 600 doctors who wants the Olympics canceled, and now the news is that there will probably no attendees at the Olympics.
Oh my gosh.
None.
Oh,
It's
man.
such an overreaction. I've looked at the mortality numbers in Japan. They're so much lower than America. You know, Asians do not die or get severely sick from COVID as other people from other continents. You know why? Besides age, the number one risk factor of death from COVID is obesity. 68% of the people who've died from COVID were medically, had the medical definition of obesity. Well, Asians are not, if you think about it, are not obese, and so that's why.
That's right. You don't see many. You're right. You don't see many fat ones, do you?
No, I mean, so thus their COVID mortality rates are so much lower than Americans.
Yeah.
Michael, what's the
Florida coach Dan Mullen just got a contract raise. He's going to make $7.6 million. Dan Mullen has never won a championship of any kind in Mississippi State or Florida.
Right.
He's making $7.6 million a year as the head coach.
You see where Georgia got Richard? They get Arik Gilbert, the LSU tight end, who had committed to Florida, but he changed his mind. Instead of staying at LSU, now he's going to Georgia. He's from Marietta, and they're getting a ex-Clemson cornerback named Darion Kendrick. Both were 5 stars, and so they're going to be rich in the secondary. But he was dismissed from the Clemson squad last year. And so they picked up 2 5-star recruits.
5 stars, and they've all played college football.
And they're
going to Georgia.
Going to Georgia.
Yeah.
And,
we got to find out when this deadline is. When's the last time?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering too.
I don't know.
There's got to be a cutoff date.
There's got to be one.
There's a running back for Alabama that was down on the depth chart, but I think he was talented who entered the transfer portal.
He was a 5-star in high school.
All right, who's that left Alabama?
Kalen Robinson.
Oh,
he sat out last year.
Is he from California? Where is he from?
Maryland. All those great players they got out of Maryland over the last few years.
And he's leaving. Do you know where he's going?
I would imagine he might try to go play for Loxley in Maryland.
Yeah, he's from Washington, D.C., and Auburn picked up Jordan Ingram, who played at St. Paul's. He's coming back from Central Michigan. He's a running back. He's 6'2", 195, he entered the transfer portal in May, but he's heading to Auburn. And then,
yeah, I think he's just going to be a backup. I think they've got their running back.
Okay, I tell you what, look out for Auburn. Look out for the Tigers. They're getting ready.
and Miami.
That's right. They're getting ready. This morning, of course, we were talking. We led off talking about these car dealers and where the new cars. Well, this old boy right here, he's got more cars than you can handle. And you go by and see Jason at Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep, and you'll find the car that you want. It's got a great inventory of used and new cars today. Drop by and see him.
They always have the best looking ads.
Yeah,
And
he's not
commercials.
afraid to advertise either. He advertises his and lets everybody know what's got going on.
Just like I said, and I've sold some advertising, like you have too, Mike, that good advertising works. But one of the keys is you got to be consistent with it and keep it out there all the time, which Jason does.
Exactly what he does. You're
Hey,
right.
Michael, in high school football, America 100, IMG Academy was ranked number 1 based on last year's scores or records. Thompson of Alabama is number 2.
In the nation.
The state in the nation, they ranked number 2. Texas has.
You're talking about probably the most miracle high school win of all time, coming back and beating Auburn High School.
Yeah.
They were dead.
Yeah,
I mean, still one of the most amazing comebacks I've ever seen.
Well, tell me what, I forgot about it. Tell me what happened.
Two touchdowns in 20-something seconds, wasn't it, Mike?
Yeah, they blocked the punt, and with like just no time left, the guy picked it up, ran it in for a touchdown. Rick Rhodes was actually calling the game, and then they get an onside kick, and then they get 2 different pass interference calls. But this is with it's left, and the guy gets in field goal range, comes in and makes like a 35-yard field goal, and they win the game.
Well, you know what? I'm not surprised. When this stuff happens, it's usually pass interference calls involved. So the referees decide the outcome of a game.
Well, in the top 20 of high school football, Texas had 6 teams in the top 20.
16.
Florida has 3. Now, besides Thompson, Hoover was ranked 45. Hewitt-Trussville was ranked number 80. St. Paul's was ranked number 90. Auburn 108, and Pinson Valley 114. Like 3 of those teams are in the same region.
Mike, guess who got a recruit from that Florida school?
IMG. I know who you're going to say.
IMG. Troy got a guy.
I read that story about the Michigan linebacker. He's been out of football for a year and a half. So
Well, that doesn't take much.
How much this guy's got left in the tank? Not playing that long.
Well,
I
Troy,
saw an
he's coming.
interesting
He's
story
coming
speaking
to
about
Troy.
people that have been out of.
His name's Anthony Jordan.
Yeah.
Help me out, Michael. There was a big running back that played at Auburn one year, huge, that played the New York Giants for a long time.
Jacobs.
Yeah.
Jacobs, yeah.
He's
39.
39 years old, and he has been out of football for 7 years, and he wants to come back and play, but he doesn't want to play as a running back anymore. He says he wants to play as a defensive end.
Yeah.
So it's like Tebow. He's been out of football for a while, and he wants to switch positions. And he's pretty much begging for some team to give him a tryout, but I would try him out.
Yeah, I would too.
He's that fast. And he
Well,
was huge already. He might be a great defensive end.
Yeah. You're
You
right.
see where Ole Miss's leading tackler is leaving the program?
No, tell me.
Why is
Is,
that happening?
Jacquez Jones, a 2-year starter. He had the most tackles last year with 75. He's entering the transfer portal. Ole
Boy.
Miss.
But I'm like Michael.
Hi, Bill. You sent this to me over the weekend. Clint Eastwood turned 91 on Memorial Day. Clint Eastwood's top 10 best movies ranked. Do you want to go over them?
I could.
I sent it to your daddy too. I don't know if he checks Facebook, but since I think Clint Eastwood is your dad's favorite.
Well, yeah, he is my favorite. He really is.
Clint Eastwood's 91. The top 10 movies ranked. number 10 is his most recent. I never even saw it. The Mule.
That was the Mule.
Yeah, that's where he's a
that
drug
was
runner.
He's a drug runner. I didn't
Good.
particularly like that one.
I thought it was good.
It cleared $100 million at the box office.
Yeah.
Just
After
watch.
that, I don't think I've ever seen this movie. White Hunter, Black Forest.
Haven't seen it.
I don't believe I've seen it either.
But it makes you want to watch it, doesn't it?
I wonder if that was that.
It's a John Huston film. I've seen this, number 8, 1979, Escape from Alcatraz.
Yeah, I saw that. A lot of people saw that.
I never saw this in 1971, Play Misty for Me.
Oh yeah, I've seen
I
it.
have.
Yeah, me too.
That's where his longtime girlfriend was in it too.
She retaliates.
What's her name?
Red-headed
Something
girl.
Locke.
Sandra Locke.
Yeah, that's right. She
Sandra
was in
Short
almost
little
every
Locke.
movie.
With him for a while.
1976, The Outlaw Josie Wells.
Oh man, I love that one. That was my favorite. I loved
This
it.
was a great movie. I forgot he was in this. Number 5, In the Line.
Was
What
what?
was?
In the Line of Fire.
In the line, when he was Secret Service agent.
Oh yeah, and the guy in the elevator did. Was that? Yeah.
The villain was
John Knucklehead.
Yeah.
He was in the Red Bar about 2 months ago.
get out of town.
Was he? Is he older? Is he an old guy, Mike? What now?
Yeah, he's an old, like balding guy that's a great actor, one of the best actors out there. But I think this is one of his best movies ever. This is pretty recent too, 2004, $1 Million Baby.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, outstanding.
When he's the boxing
Coach. Yeah.
A woman's boxer of all things, but it really gets you.
All right, number 3, 1971, Dirty Harry.
Well, all the Dirty Harry was one that make my day.
Then number 2, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly in 1966.
Oh boy, those were great. I bet that show has been seen over and over by more people than anybody. What's the name of it? Oh yeah.
Let's be y'all's number 1. Number 1 to have in 1992, Unforgiven.
That was my number 1 the other day when we were talking about him.
That was a great one right there.
Arnold Vincent.
Well, and listen, let me tell you, everybody's throwing out words, but hey, I was building a house. Bow.
Arnold Vincent films A Fistful of Dollars in 1964. Y'all remember that?
Yeah.
A few dollars more. There's another one.
Kogan's Bluff in 1968. Never heard of that.
Oh yeah.
Heroes in 1970.
Yeah.
World War II.
High Plains Drifter in 1970.
Is that when he painted the house, all the houses red?
Yeah, I like that one.
I thought this movie was really good. Hell Rider, 1985.
Yeah, that was real good.
Was that one with let's see, Preacher? Hey, Preacher.
Yeah.
Pale Rider was really, if you think about it, was a remake of Shane.
Was it the one that he's a preacher?
No, Shane was John Wayne, wasn't it?
No, Shane was Alan Ladd, but it's a
That's right.
typical motif of westerns where the loner comes in and rescues a family. Or
that's right.
Yeah, that's right.
And then Heartbreak Ridge, 1987. That was a good movie.
Yeah.
Absolute Power, 1997. And then I'm shocked this is not in the top 10. I thought this was one of my favorite Clint Eastwood movies. Gran Torino, 2008.
Yeah, it's this. I don't know who did that list, but you're right. As far as a great movie, Gran Torino needs to be in there.
But most everything that he did was very successful.
And of course, I'm a real romantic. So I loved Bridges Over Madison County with Meryl Streep.
Oh, did you?
What about Honky Tonk Man?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I can't remember. I can't remember all them.
Well, he just made a movie about the Richard Jewell, the guy that.
Georgia.
I guess he wasn't in that movie, was he? He was just directing that movie.
Yeah, he directed it.
Yeah.
Pretty good stuff there. 91 years old and he's still directing and working. Amazing.
Yeah. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back right after this coffee break.
This is my chart from Southeast Health.
And you're going to want to make it yours.
Not because it's free,
but because it's priceless. Because with my chart, you can schedule appointments online with your provider.
You can email your provider and get answers.
Get test results.
refill prescriptions.
And manage your family's health care.
You know how we all want health care to be easier?
But no one seems to listen?
Well, someone did. Southeast Health.
To get your free My Chart app,
visit your app store or go to southeasthealth.org.
Barney, what are you doing?
You've been looking for a sale. I'm going to give you one. We got one open.
Barney, it's not a jail sale. It's called a car sale. You know, 0% financing for 72 months. Discounts over $15,000.
Killing the competition.
$5,000 over Kelly Blue Book for any old trade. Hey, and it's not illegal to kill the competition.
That's another charge.
Folks, just go to PremierChoy.com. That's where you'll find all the deals. I'll see you soon.
No, you ain't. You're going to be in jail.
Barney!
Nobody beats a Premier deal.
Nobody!
When it comes to surgery, precision is perfection. The very latest technology available ensures the best possible outcome. The Mako Robotic Arm-Assisted Surgery System is now available at Troy Regional Medical Center. Skilled orthopedic surgeon Dr. Robert L. Liljeberg and his team provide patients with faster recovery and better movement after a knee replacement surgery. When accuracy matters, you deserve the very best. Troy Regional Medical Center.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we need to talk about
back on the air.
Baseball team. They got to beat. What they got to beat 11-5.
Welcome back to Today in LA. I'm Bill Rice, and Mike Amos is reading the paper looking for more material, and Forrest Lee just went to get some coffee.
And I got me a new cup of coffee
and Steve Camp was up in the booth going, "We're on."
Yeah. Well, how did that song go? Steve Camp, it's time for a new beginning with Steve Camp.
Yeah.
Steve Camp.
Isn't that funny? That's the 1976 political
that was
jingle.
A Bob James song.
You know, the only time I drink coffee is when I'm home.
And how about this? Y'all come to see me when you can. Y'all come to see me when you can.
Whose is that?
That's
Folsom had one?
Folsom. That was Folsom's song.
You don't have
Jim Folsom?
politicians with jingles anymore.
I met Jim Folsom when I was a little kid.
Yeah,
It was a Saturday or Sunday. He brought his children to Troy University at Alumni Hall, and Mother worked at Alumni Hall.
Yeah.
In housing under Arthur Coker. And she said, we were outside, and it was Jim Folsom. All I can do is remember looking up. I said, that was the biggest man I'd ever seen in my life at that time.
He was 6'8", I think. That's big man.
Shoes.
He was kin to Cornelia Wallace.
Oh yeah, well he was kin to a lot of folks down in Elba, around in
Cornelia
Elba.
Wallace was from Elba. She used to date my uncle Bobby, Bobby Rice.
Who Wallace is
Cornelia and Uncle Bobby, when they were.
Oh really? I didn't know that.
Elba Tigers.
But
I used to go to church with Big Luther Strange, who was the senator at the time, and he was about 6'9", 6'10".
Yeah, Big Luther was big, and so was Big Jim.
There's this high school kid who just turned 17 years old. He goes to Tampa Hillsborough High School. He broke the junior sprinting record that used to be owned by Usain Bolt. He ran a 20.11 second 200-meter race. He broke Bolt's record from 2003 that was 20.13.
Whoa.
He just turned 17 and is a world-class sprinter.
Man, oh man, that's amazing.
He's an American sprinter, so his name is Arion Knighton. Arion Knight, remember that name.
It sounds like another.
Well, I'll tell you, it's
Arion
time
Knight.
for America to have another great sprinter. I'm tired of Usain Bolt and these Jamaicans winning every sprint
That's
race.
right. I can remember I can remember back to Bobby Morrow. He was a 100-yard dash man. He had the record for back then about 9.3 or something like that.
Well, you had Carl Lewis was one of the last great.
Yeah, he was probably the last great.
Well, it's
sprinter.
more than just Bolt. I mean, you watch these relays and
it's Jamaica.
It's Jamaica wins them.
Yeah,
a little tiny country.
No question about it. He put them on the map, didn't he?
I wonder if he's still running. He probably is.
Yeah, I was looking at this, Mike. Alabama in softball is playing Arizona or what?
Yes, sir.
7
o'clock tomorrow night.
College World Series. That's today.
Those are the best two teams in the country, isn't it? Thank you.
Oh, it says here Alabama's the number 3 seed.
Oh yeah, I got you.
Florida's in it. You know, Alabama beat Florida in the
Georgia's in it.
SEC tournament.
Now, is Florida State in it too? Is that right, guys?
That's Florida.
Oh, Florida. Okay, I saw the SC too. Georgia's in it.
Florida got knocked out by Georgia. Georgia beat Florida.
Yeah, it's Georgia. Alabama.
Oh, Florida's not in the World Series?
Is that who?
There you go.
That's Florida State.
There, right there.
Yeah, that's Florida State.
Yeah.
Yeah, Florida State's playing UCLA.
Okay.
Yeah, Florida
State went to LSU in the Super Regional and won.
Yeah. A lot of Alabama flavor there, and also, like you said, Florida.
Florida State.
It was not.
It's Florida State.
Yeah, Florida State.
James Madison, I guess, would be a surprise of the tournament.
That's right.
I didn't even know they were that dominant,
but you get 9 girls that can play, and you got a chance.
And you got a pitcher. You got to have pitchers.
What is the real James Madison do? His greatest claim to fame.
James Madison was third or fourth president, wasn't he?
I think he was around in there, maybe fourth or fifth. But didn't he pretty much write the Constitution?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Good
history note this morning. James Madison wrote a lot of the.
He's the primary author of the Constitution. Thomas Jefferson wrote the Independence Declaration of Independence.
Yeah. Of course, a lot of teams.
I was reading some stuff on Troy's athletic season. You got the women's basketball team doing the NCAA tournament, almost beat Texas A&M. Then you got the softball team making the regionals, NCAA tournament for the first time in, I don't know, since '96. So those two sports, you had phenomenal seasons, and then all the men's sports, all the money sports that people have to pay tickets for, football went 5-6, basketball went 11-19, the baseball team barely was over 500, 27-26. I mean, what do you think went wrong in those sports this year for Troy?
Well, in football, it was a bunch of good teams in the Sun Belt was part of it.
Yeah. And one thing that people might have forgotten, Troy played Coastal Carolina off their feet. I mean, and what I'm saying, they proved that they can play with the top level teams.
Yeah. Good point.
Should
have won that game.
When you're bringing these guys back, and then you got now guys that transferred out. You got guys that have left the program. So I mean, a lot of these 21 out of the 22 seniors that were coming back are not coming back now.
Yeah.
What are you trying to let everybody look at me better?
Yeah, I want everybody to see you, man. Right, you enclosed by the flag.
I'll just be interested when this is all said and done years from now, how coaches will look at this. I mean, was it smart to bring guys back, or would you have been better off starting with new players?
Yeah, you posed that question. That's a good one several times.
Right now, of course, a lot of you already know this, but Alabama has gone in and swiped 2 from Troy. Is that right, Mike?
No, just
we got the kicker.
Jackie Martin.
And then we lost.
It's weird, though. It is weird. Two straight years, Troy's lost their punter to a Power 5 program College Sumter, Virginia last year, and then now Jack Martin is now going to Alabama.
You know, does Sumter have another year at Kentucky?
At West Virginia, he would have another
In
year.
West Virginia?
He would want to. Everybody has another year if they want to play it.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't doubt if he doesn't try to kick another year.
You
Have y'all seen the new pictures of UAB Stadium? It is insane. It's so nice.
That's going to be unreal.
Yeah, I saw it this morning. But now it just holds 45,000. It's not that much bigger than anybody else's.
Well, they can expand it out though, 55 to 60 if they want to go on down the road.
I'm sure they can. Yeah,
they'll do great their first year with all the excitement over the new stadium.
It's just amazing.
And then they got a good coach, but I want to see what happens after the excitement from this new stadium's worn off and they lose this coach, if they lose him. Because I swear I do not think that these people are as passionate about UAB football as they make you believe. I mean, for most of that program's history, there was 8,000 people going to a game.
Well, here we go. They played Jacksonville State in Crampton Bowl to open up the season.
In Crampton Bowl, here in Montgomery.
Then they go across state lines to play Georgia, to play the Bulldogs. Then they'll play at North Texas. Then they'll play at Tulane. They open up with Liberty at UAB at the new stadium.
Open that stadium up, yeah.
Then it'll be Florida Atlantic at home, at Southern Miss, Rice for homecoming, Louisiana Tech at home, at Marshall, at University of Texas San Antonio, then University of Texas El Paso comes to UAB. And
they lost. I know UAB lost one player. A big old defensive line went to Auburn.
Right.
Yeah.
Auburn's been active in the transfer portal.
They really have. They really have.
Yeah, UAB won their conference last year, and it was really sad. They were going to play South Carolina in a bowl game. Probably would have beat them because South Carolina was, had lost their coach, only won 2 or 3 games, but they let them qualify for a bowl. And I would love to see UAB play South Carolina.
They probably would have beat them.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got a question.
We get our chance
for the panel. My family went to Foley and the beach this weekend, and one of the families they were staying with has a little boy that's a couple years older than Jack, and he gave Jack a lot of his toys. He no longer wanted. And so Jack was real excited. He got some great toys from Cohen. Thank you, Cohen. And one of them is like this little squeezy dinosaur. You can pull the tail out. But that instantly reminded me of one of my favorite toys from my childhood, which was a Stretch Armstrong. Does anybody remember a Stretch
Never had one.
But you've heard of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that made me think about what were the popular toys when I was a little kid. So here's some of them. Stretch Armstrong for a while. The Evel Knievel motorcycle that could actually ramp was a great toy. The Rock and Sock'em Robots was outstanding. The electric football was a big popular thing, but I never got the appeal of it. So that was my question: is what are some of the big popular toys of your childhood that you remember?
Michael still has that his toy. What was its name, Michael?
Slinky.
I had to get it a Cabbage Patch.
Cabbage Patch doll.
My sister's got one.
Yeah.
Mine's named Virgil.
I had to go to Atlanta to pick it up. Had to go all the way to Atlanta to pick it up.
37 years old now.
Yeah.
Was that in Delano?
That was a big thing, that Cabbage Patch doll.
That's when people would throw people on the ground, tackling each other, trying to get a doll.
That's
right.
And
then years after that,
I told
that's
y'all.
the hot fad Christmas present of the year. One year it was Tickle Me Elmo. I remember that.
What was it? The little knobs? Is that a sketcher? What do you call those?
Oh, Etch and Sketch has been
Etch and Sketch.
Yeah.
That's been popular all throughout the years.
We had to have BMX bikes, like trick bikes. I remember that was a popular thing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Bicycle you could do tricks on, and then we got into vision skateboards. Everybody was into skateboards. Then the girls all had to have mopeds. The boys all had to have four-wheelers.
Tell you what I did with my bicycle. My older brother, Kenny, had a bicycle that wore out through the years, and I finally got one when I was about 12. So after about a year
you
or
didn't
so,
get a bicycle till you were 12?
I was about 12. So I took his old bicycle. I went down to Granddaddy's and cut his front, what holds the tire on.
Yep,
I cut
rim,
them off, the spoke that holds the tire. I cut those off and kind of took my front tire off and popped his on there, and I made myself a wheelie. I mean, like a motorcycle.
Yeah,
What do you call
chopper.
it? Chopper. Made myself a chopper.
Bicycles were big when I was a kid, of course, too. And I remember it was the Evel Knievel era. Y'all don't remember. Younger people do not remember what a sensation Evel Knievel was in the 70s.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy!
But he was the most famous athlete, arguably, in the country. But because of Evel Knievel ramping buses and stuff like that, we would ramp trash cans with our bicycles. You know, we would set up a ramp at the bottom of a driveway into some grass, and then you would get trash cans and lay them down so it would see who could ramp the most trash cans.
Wow.
I once ramped 6 trash cans.
Oh boy! Can you believe this?
Playing Evel Knievel. And then you would put on a football helmet, and then you would ramp into the grass. That was a smart. So if you crashed, you would at least have a football helmet on and crash in the grass.
Did you have the face mask on?
Yeah.
And
then the first video game, man, it was huge, was Pong. You just got a console and a little cord that ran to the TV, and you had 2 knobs, and you had 2 straight lines, and you just played ping pong with a little ball that...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was...
UAB Jacksonville State game will be in Montgomery at Crampton Bowl at 6:30 p.m. live on ESPN on a Wednesday night. What exposure that will be!
No, wow. That's going to be a lot of exposure. You know, you take Jacksonville; they are finding a way to expose their program. I tell you.
Yeah, the first games will be on Saturday the 28th. You'll have UTEP and Mexico State, UConn against Fresno. You'll have Nebraska at Illinois. And then you'll have Hawaii at UCLA.
I like that.
What is that on?
That turns around UCLA.
But now the Jacksonville State UAB game, is that the first game of the TV series?
No, there's games on that Saturday.
Oh, okay.
Well, Mike got his football magazine down at the beach.
Yeah. And then I had another magazine that Kenny Cox brought by for me this morning.
This one?
Yeah, it's the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame program.
This has every class of the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame. This is really good because there's a lot of Troy people that are in the Sports Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Including Larry Blakeney, including...
That was on the selection committee for about, 5 years, though?
Yeah, 5 years, yeah.
It
was a lot of fun, too.
Those, banquets.
Bobby Marlowe was inducted posthumously.
Sure was.
All right, let's see if y'all can name the inducted, the original class in 1969 had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 inductees.
Bear Bryant would have had to been one of the first. Bear Bryant, Suge Jordan.
Correct.
Lewis, boxing.
Yeah, that's right.
Correct.
Jesse Owens.
Jesse Owens.
Was Jesse in there? He was born in Alabama.
No, I can't believe it.
Pat Sullivan, Johnny Musso.
Bart Starr.
No, not Johnny Musso.
Bart Starr.
Not Bart Starr. He was still playing.
Don Hudson. No.
Don Hudson.
Don Hudson was. Yeah.
People that played at Alabama, or they're from Alabama.
Played
either one. Born in Alabama, lived
Bart
in
Starr wasn't on there?
Yeah, Bart Starr was
no, not in the first class.
Oh, okay.
Don Hudson.
He got in there as quick as he could, but it was not in the first class.
Henry Aaron wasn't in the first one.
All right, y'all did good. Y'all got several of them. I'm going to call them out to you. Joe Louis.
Boxer.
Joseph Louis Barrow, arguably the best boxer of all time. Johnny Mac Brown.
Yeah.
From Dothan, Alabama, who was a silent Western movie star. Paul William Bear Bryant, y'all heard of him?
Yes.
He wasn't a silent guy. He was.
Made it to the talkies too.
Yeah, he made the talking too.
He started off as in the silent movies.
Yeah.
Then. All right, a guy named Paul William Bear Bryant. I guess we can go along with that one. I have not even heard of this guy, y'all. Michael Joseph Donahue.
Gosh, me either.
Born in County Karen, a Yale University athlete. Starred in football, basketball, boxing, track, and cross-country running. In 1904, he went to Auburn to coach football. So he coached Auburn for 19 years in the early 20th century.
Okay.
But still surprising that they put him in there.
I know for that first round.
He must have some money.
I was thinking the same thing.
Well, Mike can tell us what goes on behind the scenes. James Franklin Hitchcock, who was
Jimmy Hitchcock
Award.
The Hitchcock Award, which the Collier Award patterned itself after.
Let me tell y'all a little story behind that.
Go ahead.
You know, Tip Colley and the Hitchcocks were cousins.
That's right. Yes, appropriate. Yeah.
Have they named the finalists for the Tip Colley Award yet?
No, evidently they're not.
I know they have applied for it, but it's usually before school is out.
I haven't
Maybe
seen
they're
it,
just running a little bit late.
I've been on that program every year, but introducing the candidates and so forth.
I used to work on it when I was with the Civitan Club back
but we
before I moved.
hadn't heard anything this year.
Don Hudson, who was might have been in the inaugural class of the NFL Hall of Fame. He's arguably the best receiver in NFL history. Was a teammate of Coach Bryant at Alabama.
Donald Montgomery.
James Ralph Shug Jordan.
Wasn't he in World War II?
Yeah, legitimate war hero. He was born in 1910 in Selma. Coach Bryant was born 1913 in Arkansas, so there's just 3 years age difference. Coach Jordan was 3 years older than Coach Bryant.
What about the great Olympian? Was he not in the first class?
Nope. Then the last one is Frank William Thomas, who was a great football coach at Alabama in the 30s. So that's your. Then the next class you had Jesse Owens, Wallace Wade, another great Alabama early coach.
Early win.
Early
John Crisp.
win from Hartford, Alabama.
John Heisman, who the Heisman Trophy is named for, that also coached at Auburn. So this is an outstanding magazine.
History book.
Yeah, it's the actual
Chase Rebel
program
is in the
for that. Yeah,
Sports Hall of Fame too.
Sure was, and rightfully so.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's in downtown Birmingham, across from the SEC headquarters. And
yeah, you have been to the museum?
Memorabilia. It's a neat place to visit.
We'll ride up there and visit it one day. It's,
I've never been in.
Really,
got a phone call.
Let's see who that is.
Let's see.
Today's the second day of June.
Good morning. You're on Today in L.A.
Bill, it's Max. How are you this morning?
Hey,
All right,
Max.
Brother Max.
Max Howell, won't you please come home?
We're
How
just
you doing,
talking
brother?
about people that are in the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame, but we're talking to somebody that is getting ready to be inducted into the Troy Sports Hall of Fame. Max Howell.
When
Thank you, guys.
When is that date going to be,
the 3rd
Max?
of September?
Yeah, that's Friday night, the 3rd.
The 3rd of September.
Okay, yeah, all right, that's going to be nice. It'll be nice.
Well, what you got going on, Max?
Well, it's raining up here in North Mississippi today. It's we've had we've had some cooler days, and the football magazines are out, and I'm ready for fall to start.
Have you started your reading them? Have you started reading the magazines? Which is your favorite magazines up through the years, or do you not want to say?
I've already pretty well memorized for this year. Because I stay in touch. Lynn Scarborough at Lindy's, and I talk once a week anyway throughout the year. So I pretty well know he had it, and they sell about 1 million magazines a year now.
Well, I want to send him. I want to send him some stories, some freelance stories. If I contacted you, could you tell him to be on the lookout for my stuff?
Yeah, what I'll do, just send me your information, phone number, mailing address, email address, and I'll pass it on to him. Be glad to.
Where's your linebacker from Ole Miss going? The senior linebacker.
I just saw that. Who knows? that transfer portal thing is going to have to change. I think. I was just answered an email just a moment ago about the extra numbers Division I will have on their roster this year. They go from 85, I think, to 92 to accommodate those guys that decided to come back and play on the transfer portal or anything else. But that's got to change. I mean, that's a complete disruptive tool that they put in to accommodate these kids that get frustrated and decide they made a mistake.
Yeah, that's a hurricane.
One thing that's very important, they need a date that after that date they can't do anymore this year.
Mm-hmm.
When you say?
Well, yeah, but they took away the 4-year scholarship, put it down to 1, because coaches make mistakes on kids as well.
Yeah.
You have coaching changes, and those kids don't fit the system of you guy. Now I think they tried to balance that and let the kids have, basically full alert of what they want to do. That's a financial drain on the athletic department. You recruit them, you coach them, and you house them and feed them, and all of a sudden they're up and gone.
Mm-hmm. We haven't talked much about this guy, this linebacker from Tennessee that is.
Right.
Is going to Alabama.
Toto.
How good is this guy? He must be real good.
I don't know that you can tell, Mike. I mean, how good is anybody at Tennessee right now?
Yeah, I know it. You're right.
I mean, the bottom fell out with Pruitt for some reason. I don't know who was helping him or where their evaluation came from.
Fulmer, Fulmer has had a lot to do with everything they do, don't you think?
Yep. No, they did. I mean, somebody told me Phil Fulmer already left town. He's moved out of town. I don't know.
I bet he didn't move to Alabama.
Oh.
Moved back in based on a temporary situation. The athletic director, that fell apart. So I don't know. I mean, that's a strange situation. I'd like for Tennessee to be back, at least in the top 3 in the SEC East.
I would like to see them be back too. That great tradition, of football.
I think it's a little karma, some of the stuff they did and got away with, and their period in the wilderness has lasted much longer than you would have thought was possible.
Yeah. Over the years, I've always heard that Tennessee was not a great recruiting ground for players, and they go outside. Tennessee has had to recruit from outside, haven't they?
Well, it's because they don't have great high school football.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Look at there's not enough kids in the state of Tennessee to put together, a national championship program.
What about Georgia?
So they had to go to the Carolinas, up down the East Coast.
That's right.
Go
Yeah.
to the Midwest, go to Chicago, and
get leftovers from Alabama. They got 2 pretty good ones out of Alabama back in the '60s, Richmond Flowers and Condridge Holloway. Then they had they used to be known for their linebackers. You remember that? Tennessee always had great linebackers.
Yep.
But Mike, on both those kids you named from Alabama, those were political moves, both of them.
Yeah.
But I was in the Wallace administration, and knew all about Richmond's dad and emphasis went on there. And Richmond had to leave the state of Alabama.
Well, Georgia got richer yesterday. They got that big tight end from LSU, and they got a defensive back from Clemson.
Well, here's the question: who's going to coach them?
There you go.
Yeah, you're right.
They get the best. They get as good a talent as anybody in the country, and they go 10-2.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to be as long as he's there.
You know who might coach him is the former strength coach at Alabama that had such a cult following.
Cochran. He's coaching a position now, isn't he?
Well, he was the special teams, but usually it's the special teams coach is also the tight ends coach for some reason. Yeah. So I wonder if Cochran might be coaching this guy.
Well, there's other problems on that staff, guys, besides the players. I promise you that.
Well, as the sleeping giant in the SEC, who's going to be the first one to knock Alabama off the pedestal? Will it be Texas A&M? Will it be LSU or Auburn this year?
Or Georgia, would it?
I'm talking about on the West.
Oh.
I've watched every spring game out there in the
and Alabama didn't play about a dozen of their key players in that game either.
That's a great question, but you would have to think either Georgia or Texas A&M probably would have an opportunity because of their recruiting base. But I don't see it. I think leadership at the top of both those programs are very questionable.
Well, for whatever it's worth, this high school football America rankings based on last year, Texas, the state of Texas has 6 high schools in the top 20. Florida has 3. So that's where the hotbed of recruiting is. I think Georgia had 1. Alabama had.
Texas has always been the hotbed of recruiting.
We lost you for a second there, Mike. Sorry.
Go back and check the history records of Texas A&M, for example, and tell me the last time they won a national championship. I can do that off the top of my head.
I can too.
John David Crow.
No, it was 1937 or something like that.
1938. 1938, Mike.
Well, that is a long ways. You're right.
But contrary to most people believe, I wasn't there, but I could have been.
All right. I like this.
Who's got more money, Texas alumni or Texas A&M alumni?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I mean, that's been tossed around back and forth, and because of that, I think that's where the grumbling comes from the fan base of both schools, when they've got all that. They've got all the resources in the world, the most people with the most money. They got everything going for them, but they can't quite get it together because of the decision-making process.
I know it.
We look at Jimbo.
Jimbo's
record at Florida State won 1 national championship with a highly paid quarterback from Alabama, and he couldn't maintain that. And he goes out there and he's built and he uses. See, I think the proof was in the pudding with Kelly Bud. He started 4 years out there. Where did he go in the draft?
3rd round.
I'm just saying, decisions. And I watched the spring game. They got 2 talented young freshman quarterbacks, but I'll guarantee you they aren't neither one good for Bryce Young. They got 9 returning starters on the defensive side, and they'll win 9 or 10 games.
It's Bryce Young from California.
I was thinking while y'all were talking about that. Think of the teams that at one time were on top: Tennessee, Texas, Nebraska, Southern Cal. You can just go on and on. I mean, these were great programs at one time that are just very ordinary programs now.
Yeah, it can happen.
Well, USC falling off the map.
Mm-hmm. That's right. I said
how about Michigan?
Michigan, definitely.
Did you say Penn? Did you say Penn State?
Miami,
Florida State,
Miami too.
Florida State, yep.
Florida State. God, isn't that amazing?
The ones that jump out at me are Nebraska, down for ordinary for a long, below ordinary, I would say, and then Tennessee was a top 10 national program, and it's now been 20 years since they've been relevant.
Let me pose a question, guys. You ever looked into why that happens?
Tell us.
Decisions.
It has have not one thing to do with the coaching staff. It's all the administration philosophy, from the chancellor up to the board of trustees.
I think so.
Let me just tell you about Tennessee. In the last 10 years, Tennessee's had 3 chancellors. They've had a complete turnover of the board of trustees, and they've had 4 football coaches and 3 athletic directors in 10 years.
There you go. That's it. Mm-hmm.
But you can throw in Florida State, Miami, Michigan, like they said. Penn State's not very good like they used to be. Not dominant. And it's amazing these big schools that are just have pummeled.
Well, just Alabama fans, some of them are too cocky, and I said it. And they're obnoxious, but they need to be humble, and you need to realize that it can happen because we know it can happen. You just named 8 programs it's happened to.
You
can have long, and it happened to Alabama before Saban came back.
It already happened now. You don't remember
hey.
days?
Oh, yeah.
Mike DeVoe's days, I had season tickets for all those Minnesota teams.
The one thing Alabama did that was different in some of these programs is they they didn't fall completely off a cliff. Even Mike Shula and all of these coaches had at least one good year, so Alabama was on the radar. Even with Shula, even with Dubose had one great year. Yeah. Stallings was certainly good. Perkins had a good year. Curry had good years. So Alabama didn't fall down, like these other programs.
All right, throw out the big name in that program's history. Arkansas, Brawls.
Hatfield.
That was Brawls. By far, Brawls was a dominant guy.
They got about as many national championships Auburn does.
Florida State, Bowden, they're gone. Then Penn State, Paterno, he's gone.
And he was bad for his last
Southern Cal,
10 years, really.
McKay, all the way back to McKay. But Southern Cal, Nebraska, what's his name in Nebraska? Osborne, exactly. All these are big names. Fulmer at Tennessee.
He won one national championship. Peyton Manning never won the national championship.
I tell you what he did. I tell you what Fulmer did. He beat Alabama's butt. He owned Alabama at one time. Fulmer did. Isn't that right, man?
Well, they beat us about 6 or 7 years in a row, I think.
And but what I'm saying, all of them.
They put Alabama on probation with Logan Young.
Yeah, that's right.
Alabama was on probation for about 5 years.
That's right. But it's just amazing how all of these had big names at one time for their program, and now they've been gone a while.
What about Arch Manning? He's got what, 1 more year or 2 more years? He's got 1 more.
2. He's got 11. He's got 2 years.
He's got 2.
What do they say about him, Max? What do they say about this Manning kid?
Well, I'll tell you this. Y'all watch tapes of him?
I saw one game he played that was on ESPN.
He's the best quarterback in the country right there.
Yeah.
Okay, he's 6'3", about 200 pounds. He's just 11th grader.
Can run a little bit.
And I think all the indication is he's going to obviously have a choice where he wants to go to school. That's going to be an interesting bidding war, to say the least.
Bidding war.
Now you know what?
But he's the real thing. I've watched him 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Tennessee, no.
Few high school quarterbacks you don't have to pay to come to your school.
Exactly right.
Yeah, I think the Manning family's okay. They don't need any. Matter of fact, if you offer the, if you,
I'm not real sure. I'm not real sure the decision will be his. I don't. Peyton and Archie and Cooper and all of them have a decision in that.
I'll tell you right now.
They know his.
I wonder what the Manning's opinion is on Lane Kiffin. What kind of guy they think he is. I wonder if they would want him to go to Ole Miss.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah. Will he be in Ole Miss?
That was why Peyton went to Tennessee, because Ole Miss was, I think, going on probation. The offensive front wasn't very good, and Archie was afraid Peyton to get hurt. At Ole Miss, of course, that cost Archie tons of money as far as endorsements and all in the state of Mississippi. And I don't know that some people ever forgave him for it. But the bottom line is, Peyton went on, had a great career, certainly, did everything everybody expected him to do at the NFL level. That's going to be an interesting situation to watch, the unfolding of Arch Manning. I think there'll be books written about that, I'm sure.
Yeah. It is 8:13 on our clock here, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Steve Petty.
This is my chart from Southeast Health.
And you're going to want to make it yours.
Not because it's free,
but because it's priceless. Because with my chart, you can schedule appointments online with your provider.
You can email your provider and get answers.
Get test results.
Refill prescriptions.
And manage your family's health care.
You know how you all want healthcare to be easier?
But no one seems to listen?
Well, someone did. Southeast Health.
To get your free My Chart app,
visit your app store or go to southeasthealth.org.
Barney, what are you doing?
You've been looking for a sale. I'm going to give you one. We got one open.
Barney, it's not a jail sale. It's called a car sale. 0% financing for 72 months. Discounts over $15,000.
Killing the competition.
$5,000 over Kelly Blue Book for any old trade. Hey, and it's not illegal to kill the competition.
That's another charge.
Folks, just go to PremierTroy.com. That's where you'll find all the deals. I'll see you soon.
No, you ain't. You're going to be in jail.
Barney!
Nobody beats a Premier deal. No!
body.
When it comes to surgery, precision is perfection. The very latest technology available ensures the best possible outcome. The Mako robotic arm-assisted surgery system is now available at Troy Regional Medical Center. Skilled orthopedic surgeon Dr. Robert L. Liljeberg and his team provide patients with faster recovery and better movement after a knee replacement surgery. When accuracy matters, you deserve the very best. Troy Regional Medical Center.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Back on there.
Back to our show, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks on the bypass in Troy. Troy Bank and Trust Company. Remember, Troy Bank and Trust Company is the only bank you ever want to or ever need, and we appreciate them being one of our prime sponsors of our show. Of course, today I want to mention also the Southeast Alabama Electric Co-op right here in Troy, and they've expanded and really got a beautiful place out there on 231 South, right across from a place called Susta's. And good place.
You said that one of the sisters has got a beautiful singing voice.
Hey, both of them do, but only one of them could sing the other night at that party.
Birthday party.
But it was really beautiful. You know, I heard that she was a good singer, but
you know who's a good singer?
Geraldine can really sing.
My wife can really sing.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
I like to hear sometimes.
She's in the choir at First Methodist Church, and she sang a solo the other Sunday.
And my good friend Tom Murphy's in the choir.
He sure is.
A teammate to your dad.
The great Tom Murphy.
For many years, and
Tom Murphy is like Sheryl Crow and some other people. He's probably at his same playing weight today as when he was in high school and college.
Well, he looks good, and of course, his son's a world-ranked domino player.
He's
talking about
Andy.
Andy, yeah.
Andy is a math savant.
Yeah.
If you've ever got to know him, he can.
Max, I was trying to figure out earlier, when in the world is the deadline on this transfer portal? When can these kids not transfer anymore?
I think that's a flexible question. That was what was posed to be early this morning by a guy over in Atlanta. And we were going back and forth just talking about that. You know, I just tried to bring him up on why it's like it is right now. And everything is all. This is all temporary. We know that. And I think they kind of judging these things. I know they've got some general guidelines on when they can announce and when they can transfer. But right now, up until, as of recent, I don't know what that date is, but they will let them jump in the transfer portal and go that day. I mean, they have the guidelines.
Troy just lost their top receiver to take the test.
Well, they lost their punt. They lost the kicker to Alabama, too, didn't they?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So, I mean, Troy's starting to get affected by it. If I was these coaching staffs, I would tell these players, you're either with us or not with us. You got to make a decision. If you're gonna leave, you need to go ahead and leave us.
Yeah. Bud Casey said though those sandstorms are so bad out in Lubbock that you don't want to be there very long. He always told me you got to want to go to Lubbock. Have you ever heard about all those sandstorms? They're liable to come up over a brief period, and they just blow everybody away.
Well, I know Troy's got to be worried about Marshall, the linebacker.
Yeah, I know it. And boy, I hope we can hold on to him.
Oh, I'll say something about college football. It's one of the big trends is the interest in the California and the West Coast has dwindled big time because of TV contracts and I don't know what, but their attendance is not as good. Their fundraising isn't as good. They got no good TV contracts. So it used to be Oregon, USC, UCLA, some other teams were factors in the national conversation. They basically no longer are, right?
Yeah.
And then you got the Big Ten, which is really Ohio State and the dwarfs, as far as I'm concerned. And then you got the Big 12, which might as well just be Oklahoma and the 11 dwarfs, maybe Texas once. So it just seems like you got the SEC and Clemson is the only dang teams that matter. You got about 5 or 6, 7 in the SEC that can win it in any year, and then Clemson, and then Ohio State, and Oklahoma's going to make the playoff field, but they're not going to win the national championship.
All right, right now, I don't know if you have Alabama's schedule, but looking at the schedule, a road game that could possibly Alabama could lose that game. What would it be?
You think they're going to lose to Miami and Atlanta?
No. How about Georgia? Where they play them?
They don't.
They don't play Georgia.
Oh, okay.
They got Florida and Texas A&M in the first 6 or 7 games.
Where do they play Florida?
Florida.
In Florida.
All right, that one right there. They could lose it right there.
And Texas A&M. So that's 2 tough ones, buddy.
And then
and I don't think Miami's a layup. I mean, Miami's got talent, and they've gotten about 5.
The line's already out on all of these guys. Alabama's favored by 13 or more, most of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alabama's 17.5 against Miami.
But I was just thinking of a possibility, and I would think it
against Florida, I think.
Yeah.
Alabama's 70.5 against Mercer.
70.5? No, you're crazy. Hey,
did you ever think you'd see a day where Mercer would play Alabama in football before Troy does?
Yeah, I don't know.
Anybody.
Let me
Charles Henderson might play.
They need the payday, guys.
Yeah. Let me ask this, Max. Why does the big schools not play Troy? I mean, they're playing South Alabama.
Troy's already got a record. They beat LSU, they beat Missouri, they beat Mississippi State. They've already got already got a track record. Those guys at that level, they know they got the particular play in the SEC conference. They know they're going to have a week in and week out. They're looking for teams that they can win easily and place number 2s and number 3s so they can stay in contention. And it's no longer just about the SEC, it's about national championships.
Yeah. Well, they probably won't be playing UAB anytime soon. UAB's gotten to be pretty good. And, I was just thinking.
Well, see, Mike, here's what's happening. I was going to ask this question in a minute. At what point in time, Troy, the level that Troy plays, benefited by the number when they cut the scholarships back and raised the academic standards in Division I. They benefited from that. Now with the transfer portal, they've gone back to, to be losing players, not getting. They can recruit them, but they can't keep them.
Yeah.
So my point is that with the Troy, with the administration and the fan base, let's say Chip had, a possibility of winning 8 or 9 ball games this year. They lose 3 of their top players, and they lose those games. How is that going to affect his performance? He didn't have anything to do with it. It was all about the rules. If he starts your career off the way it is, you got to win now. Philosophy is all this money being paid. You go 0 and have 3 straight losing records, start your career. You don't have a job. Well, all right, let me ask you this, and I understand that. Remember, I stayed there 32 years, so I understand the politics of that. But here's the fact: is he recruited the right players, he coached the right players, but the rule took those players away from him. He didn't. Not one thing he did. The kids made the choice to make a transfer. They didn't have one thing to do with his. So they still penalize him because he loses 2 or 3 and fire him.
Mm-hmm. I see your point.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what that does. The issue you're dealing with this year is you give everybody a COVID pass. You just blame everything on COVID and say this year didn't count.
Yeah, some are getting it, no doubt.
Okay, but that's it. But what about those guys that's transferred? You just told me the wide receiver, the punter. And say he loses 1 or 2 more.
Yep.
Oh yeah. And
If I was a college coach at a, what do they call them, one of the top conferences, I would be scouting the top 1AA teams and the mid-level Troy type programs and just pulling the best players from there. Because that means Troy has got 4 or 5 or 6 players that can play anywhere and be good anywhere.
What they do? They go after the.
Think Reggie Todd, that guy outside Birds Drugs, he's 6'5".
He can play anywhere.
210 pounds. He already played at Mississippi State. Had about 300 yards receiving his freshman year. You know, he's had 2 good seasons at Troy. You know he can play somewhere.
Yeah, I know it. You know, what they ought to do is go out to.
Another thing it's going to do from the guys that prepare these contracts, they're going to put a front end load on some of these schools, like Gus said at Auburn, where okay, you can fire me if you don't fire me for cause, and the cause can't be losing football games. As long as everything's above board, then you got a $20-25 million payout to that guy if you want to fire him.
Yeah.
That's going to be the legal step that they take, I'm sure.
I tell you, it's something's got to change. I think we're opening them up a can of worms.
Yep. Opened it up already, and you got to close it.
Max Howell, I want to mention.
Then this other thing that's coming is this name, image, and likeness, where you can pay players. We don't know how that's going to play out. I would think how it's going. I'll tell you how it's going to play out. The rich are going to get richer. These players are going to want to get paid, and they're going to get paid more at the blue blood programs than the other programs.
Yeah. Well, they finally, all these phone calls up, they said, why aren't we asking Max what he cooked for Memorial Day? What did you cook, Max?
Well, I had chicken and beef tenderloin. That's what I cooked on the grill.
Oh, boy.
Chicken breast and beef tenderloin. I cut the beef tenderloin in chunks and wrapped it in bacon. And cooked those on the grill. We had about 5 different. I think I fed 13. This past, we did it Monday afternoon, and we had every kind of salad you think of, and baked beans always goes with that, without a doubt. Then we had chocolate cheesecake for dessert.
Oh man!
That side order of strawberries if you want to dump that on top of it. So it was a good time had by all, I can promise you.
Yeah.
In fact, last night I still ate the leftovers.
Well,
Max is probably like my wife, Lee. Lee just enjoys cooking. Like, she just, gets in the zone. It's, peaceful to her. She enjoys it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Let me know when it's time to go eat dinner.
You know, I mean, we get a bunch of guys together. We stand outside the grill, and, you know, with a group I cook for, I'll listen more than anything else, because these are big-time hunter and fishermen, and, I mean, all of them got big boats, and they got 15 guns, and you know they go to Colorado hunting, and South Dakota pheasant hunting. These people go to Africa on big game hunts. These guys are not the normal.
They sound like guys that live life to the fullest.
I'm looking at this Alabama Sports Hall of Fame program that Mike brought in this morning, and I did not know that. I somehow missed this, that Sim Bird is in the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Good deal.
I went to section, yeah.
He had more tables paid for than anybody ever inducted.
Oh, exactly. In fact, I don't believe they broke that record yet.
I was there too. Like Herb Winston, who was doing the announcement, made a comment. Because all the vendors in the spirits business are in D.C.
Yeah.
I was working.
I want to say they had something like 17 tables.
Wow. Yeah, there's people from all over the country that came to see him get inducted.
Right. Sure was. He was very deserving.
Michael, did you remember seeing the program that night? He must have had 20 ads in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
And hey, don't think that doesn't count. Yeah.
Yeah. So now I'm getting educated on some of the other things.
But he was very deserving. Though.
Yeah, he was deserving.
Did what he did. In one season, 41 touchdowns.
Is Don Maestri still not in?
No, he's not in it. We need to get him in it. We need to talk to him.
We need to get Coach Maestri in, and we need to.
the Mayor Andalusia has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
It is.
Dustin's telling us we need to go. It's almost.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, they are signaling to us that it's time to close. And of course, Max, we'll see you again. We appreciate you very much and look forward to hearing from you again.